Okay, I think we're doing it. Perfect. Video looks good. Audio looks good. Um, Everything on this end is saying it's working. I have this habit of whenever I'm streaming, always checking manually on my phone, for example, and making sure that I'm actually streaming. So I'll do that real quick if I can get this to work. And awesome. Seems like I'm live. So, hello everybody. Actually, I guess I'll wait to make sure I'm actually live. It accidentally made like 5 videos, and it's not showing any of them live at the moment. Okay, this is me live. Perfect. It is working. Check the audio. Lovely. And I'm not going to cut that out. That's just part of the stream. So hello everyone. My name is Chloe Lewis. I've had this channel for quite a while. I used to go under the name Chloe the Dev. And a lot of times I was going over various topics in like the crypto space. I was really into like consensus algorithms and different white papers and cryptography and stuff like that. And along the way, I ended up working for a cryptography engineering tutoring class type of thing. Kind of hard to explain. But in that, my mentor showed me this website. So this website is called Explained from First Principles. So explain-from-first-principles.com. And it tries to explain some pretty core topics from first principles. So the first article is the internet. The second article is covering email. The third article is covering number theory. So when I was working doing cryptography engineering work, I was mainly concerned about number theory. And so hopefully in this series, so I do hope this will become a series of me going through these articles. So hopefully in this series, I will get to number theory, which is a lot more complicated than internet or email, or it can be at least. But we'll get there. So in the internet article, so if I just open this up real quick. So the internet explained from first principles. This article and its code were first published on the 5th of August 2020 and last modified on the 10th of February 2026. So it's pretty new, but it is kept up to date over time, which is pretty cool. If you like the article, please share it with your friends on social media. So this is me sharing it with my friends on social media. Support me with a donation. So if you think this is cool, I'll put the link to this article in the bio. It should already be in the description of this video, but feel free to go make a donation to the author. You can also cite the article, download it as a PDF, or see what people are saying about it on X, discuss it on Reddit, or use Google Translate to read it in another language. So I'm going through this in English. YouTube makes it pretty easy to change the language of whoever's speaking. This is just for people that might not have the time to read it. But also I just want to spend the time going through it. I've never gone through the internet or email articles, only the number theory article. So it should be fun. If you are visiting this website for the first time, then please first read the front page. The front page is what I was just reading. I'll go back to that in a second, where I explain the intention of this blog and how to best make use of it. As far as your privacy is concerned, all data entered on this page is stored locally in your browser unless noted otherwise. So there are some tools you can use when playing around and learning about the internet, for example, or about email. And those tools, it's trying to say that, it's not storing your information privately. While I researched the content on this page thoroughly, you take or omit actions based on it at your own risk. In no event shall I, as the author, be liable for any damages arising from information or advice on this website or on referenced website. This is someone's passion project. They're not paid to put this up. This is just information from the internet to teach people about the internet and other core topics. So let's go back to the homepage. As I said, 3 articles: the internet, email, number theory. Ambition. The goal of this website is to provide the best introductions available to the covered subjects. After doing a lot of research about a particular topic, I write the articles for my past self in the hope they are useful to the present you. Each article is intended to be the first one that you should read about a given topic, and also the last. So all-encompassing articles to really go through a topic. Now, obviously, that means that I'm not going to go through every single hyperlink on this article, but I'll try and dig into some of them that I find interesting. If anyone watching this in the future finds this interesting, please go to the article yourself, read it yourself. That's always the best way to do this. I'm just going through it myself. So unless you want to become a real expert on the subject matter, then yes, you might dig in deeper. I try to explain all concepts as much as possible from first principles, with which I mean the following. Reductionist reasoning. There's a big difference between understanding how something works and understanding why something works. The latter is more interesting as it allows you to predict how a system behaves in novel circumstances. No prior knowledge required. I strive to make the explanations comprehensible with no prior knowledge beyond a high school education. Since education varies a lot by school and by country, I link even basic concepts to external sources, such as Wikipedia. So again, I might have a higher level of knowledge or lower level of knowledge than people that are watching this, so I might click links or not click links that you may or may not click. So if you find something boring because I'm digging too deep and it's too simple for you, again, just come read the article. And if I'm skimming over stuff that I find to be too straightforward, then again, come read the articles and come read the links yourself. It'd be a great idea. And reasoning transparency. By referencing the source behind empirical claims and by giving you the full explanation whenever possible, you can form your own opinion without having to trust me. The articles themselves are minimal trust investigations. So the reason you can trust the article is not because the author is saying they're so amazing or so smart. It's because there's so many different pieces of evidence in the sub articles or the supporting articles that just try and show that this is just what the facts are without any opinion or embellishments, hopefully. Quality. As the case for all humans, my expertise is limited. Given the wide range of topics I cover, I cannot be an expert on all of them. I try to check empirical claims and study normative statements as well as I can, but unlike schools and Wikipedia, the content on this blog is intentionally opinionated. I believe that the judgment of an approach is just as important as the approach itself, given the right amount of intellectual humility, as opinions can and should evolve with new considerations. The problem with learning is that the more you understand that you don't understand. While going down the rabbit hole of a topic can be a lot of fun, I have to stop my research at some point in order to not paralyze myself. Therefore, if I'm mistaken about facts, please bring it to my attention, and this is how you do that. There's a contact form here. If you disagree with my conclusions, write a rebuttal. If your rebuttal contributes to a civilized debate, I'll link to it. So you can talk back and forth about a topic, and your discussion back and forth could become part of this article, which is pretty cool. This is going to be open source writing in a certain sense, which is really awesome. Length. In order to truly understand why things are the way they are and not different, you have to put in a lot of effort. But as with many things in life, the more you put in, the more you get out of it. To respect your time, I write as succinctly as I can, which makes the information density of my text really high. However, complex concepts simply require a lot of words to explain them properly. I put a lot of thought into the structure of each article to make it easy to skim and digest as possible. I avoid overarching storylines so that you can read each section independently, which allows the articles to be used as works of reference. So, the idea here being that, thanks for the comment, Swan Song 2812. I will explain how your partner is so incredibly beautiful once you explain how my partner is so incredibly beautiful. You're a goof. So yeah, Basically, the idea is this is a long piece of work. It'll take me a while to go over it as well. I do not expect to be done this in a day or even a week or maybe even a month. It might take me months to go through, especially these 3 articles. But that is the fun part. Just taking my time reading this, and if someone else likes it, wants to do the same, they can take their time listening or reading as well. So license, explained from first principles by Casper Eder, is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. So I'm not making any money off of this. Hopefully, this is just creatively sharing with the world. If eventually one day I can get monetized on YouTube, I don't know how that changes things, but there's no plans on making any money from this. It's just me sharing, so it should be fine. Disclaimer: while I researched the content of this website thoroughly, you take or omit actions based on your own risk. Blah 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 blah. More disclaimers. Navigation: to make this blog as useful as possible, I added the following features for you. If you have any ideas for improvement, tell me. So is the table of contents. I'm not going to read everything about that. There's if you click a green link, which references a different section on the same page, this is the green link here, a new entry in your browser history is generated, so you can easily go back to you were before you click the link. Click on the blue link, and it opens the reference page in a new window or tab. Like this, you never have to worry about losing your current position. Let's just try it. Click here, ha ha ha, and then click back, and then now you're back here. Okay. Blue links will open up a new page about that thing, like number signs. Browser address: when you scroll through an article, your browser address is updated continuously in order to always link to the current section. While this can create a lot of entries in your browser history, it helps you find more easily where you left off, especially on mobile when a page reload is forced upon you. If you want to share an article without linking to a particular section, make sure to remove everything from the address from the hash. So if right now, I'm not sure if you guys can see the top of the page. You can. So right here, if you want to share the entire article, you'll share this part of the article. If you want to share from table of contents, you'll share from table of contents. And as you scroll down, this area here will change automatically, right? Browser address, section links, section skipping, it changes automatically, which is pretty cool. If you want to share a link, okay, green. If a section does not interest you, you can click on the link of the text and its title to advance to the next section of the same or a higher level. Huh. Interesting. So you can just click the area and then go to the next section. Information boxes. Articles contain boxes with additional information which you can open or close. Okay, so yeah, you can just read more or not read if you don't want to. Optional reading, you can read more as well if you don't want to read more. Dark and light mode. I like dark mode. If you like light, go ahead and switch it. Not for me. There are many interactive tools. So you can play around with different tools. You can revisit earlier examples later on. So you can if a tool was used earlier in the article, maybe you'll revisit later to learn more. I might do that. We'll see. Have fun with it. You can go back and forth in your history by clicking on the various buttons, the values, persist across sessions. Okay. If you don't want the values to persist across sessions, then open the article in private mode. You can also erase all stored values by clicking the pink link in the sentence. So there you go. If you want to use the tools and erase stuff, there you go. Sharing of values. You can share a tool's current set of values with someone else by clicking the corresponding button. There you go. The values are encoded onto the fragment of the copied link. This has the advantage that they are not sent over the server when opening the link. The downside is they don't work for users who disabled JavaScript. So use JavaScript in your browser and you'll be fine. Article download. You can download each article as a PDF for printing or offline reading, which is actually pretty cool. Like you have an e-reader or something else and read it like that. You can find the download link at the top of the corresponding article, so like I showed above. The printing feature of your browser also works, of course, but I cannot ensure the article is formatted nicely this way. Additionally, only the open information boxes are printed if you export the article yourself. Okay, so best to just go through the actual download link to make sure you get all the information boxes as well. Graphics export, by right-clicking a graphic with your mouse, you can download the graphic, pretty basic stuff. But yeah, I mean, Yeah, the license is Creative Commons. So yeah, acronym tooltips. Well, I generally avoid acronyms. Sometimes they're better known for what they stand for. If you encounter an acronym, you can hover over it, and you'll get a tooltip with their full name. Transparency. I work independently, and I'm supported by donations from my readers. I pledge to disclose all conflicts of interest which might bias the content of this blog. The text on this website is generally written by me and not by a large language LLM such as ChatGPT. I use LLMs heavily for research and coding. Occasionally, I also use them for proofreading, which blurs the line a little bit. So, the information isn't written by an LLM. The LLM is used for proofreading, grammar, publication type stuff, which to me is totally fine. I mean, that's the world we live in. Not everyone can afford an editor and everything else to publish. So there you go. You can contact the writer. If you have feedback, questions, or suggestions on topics, please let them know if an explanation is hard to follow, if you find a typographical error, a factual inaccuracy, a logical fallacy, or you can create an actual issue. So it's like it's all done through GitHub, which is pretty cool. Again, you could donate. Bank account, IBAN. Apparently, you can support directly through GitHub, Patreon, PayPal, all these things. Bitcoin address, every sat counts. And then general privacy, about, FAQ, mailing list, short art, a lot of stuff. I'll skim the rest of this because honestly, a lot of it isn't that too important, at least. So he does measure how people use the website. No personal information is collected. Data is isolated to a single day. And the analytics are shared, so you can look at the analytics of the site yourself. It's hosted with GitHub Pages, which is pretty cool. Some tools send information to other people. And there's articles on Reddit, X, and Telegram. So, yeah. This Casper Editor. I studied computer science at ETH and live in Zurich. I studied computer science at ETH. What's ETH? ETH Zurich? Okay, reject all cookies. Huh. Cool. I mean, I've known people that have gone there, but very cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. Facts. I'm not going to go through the facts. Oh, we'll go through quickly. Is there a mailing list? No. Shorter articles? I guess I could, but length is the wrong metric. Why don't you split your long articles into smaller ones? I feel like they are split. So, like, for example, you have one large article, the internet. Then you have all these smaller sub-articles that you could, so I can try and do one day about communication protocol. Then there's sub-articles in here, right? Then there's, again, handling of anomalies. And there's a bunch of sub-articles in there. So, like, to me, it already is smaller articles. But again, I'm going to skip that one. Have you considered creating videos of your content? Yes. But yeah, I guess they're saying that it's different. Text has different. I think text does pretty well in certain things. The author thinks to be the same way. And I guess there's just different ways of doing things. There's already ways to do visual content, but sometimes you just need to, like, a lecture is okay on a topic, but sometimes you need to read the textbook. So yeah. Articles as books, not really. Books are mostly outdated, which kind of like makes sense. You have a PDF here if you really wanted a book, but you have hyperlinks with here. What software do you use to create the graphics? They have their own SVG framework, which is pretty cool. Why don't you contribute to Wikipedia instead? Oh gosh. I mean, I feel like there's so many reasons. Artistic freedom, software stack. But you can read all of the author's reasons here. Quite a few reasons. Do you accept guest content? No, even if you're willing to pay. This person wants their site to be just what they want to write, and I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, if you want to make a donation, feel free. Everything's Creative Commons. And yeah, that is the intro of what I'm going to be doing for the series. The first article that I'm going to be going over is the internet explained from first principles. And so the first topic is communication protocol. And so hopefully I'll start that sometime next week. We'll talk about Alice and Bob and message sending back and forth and how we have encryption and keep things safe. But it should be really fun. And I hope you guys enjoy following along. So, until next time.